Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today's Friday, September 9th. I'm Sean Duhamel. Thank you so much for joining with us again this week. Today is a really big day for Mass Retirees. I am super excited. Today marks the first time in 3 years that we will hold our annual membership meeting. It kicks off today at 11 a.m. at Lombardo's down in Randolph on the South Shore, right on the verge of the South Shore, my backyard. We are really excited to get back together with our members again. Quite honestly, I'm not sure how many people are going to show up, if it's going to be standing room only or if we're going to have empty seats. But all members are welcome to attend. You're welcome to bring a guest. There is no charge, no cost. You didn't need to RSVP. So if you live in or around the Randolph area, or if you don't mind taking a ride, but it's not necessary, you're welcome to attend. Now the meeting is going to get underway at 11. Our hope is that we're also going to be able to live stream this meeting on the Mass Retirees YouTube channel, which is where you're watching this right now, or you may be on our Facebook page. But we plan to live stream on YouTube throughout the meeting. That link will also be on our website, massretirees.com, as well as on the Facebook page. And once it's on YouTube, it's archived. So even if you're not available at 11 a.m., you're going to be able to go back later in the day or next week or next year even and watch the annual meeting. And we're going to continue doing this. We want to make our meetings as accessible to all of our members as we possibly can. So even though we're excited to be able to see people in person and shake hands and look each other in the eyes once again, we know that we have a lot of members who are just not able to get to a meeting during the day. Whether or not you live in another part of the country or another part of the state, you have other obligations, or with COVID, you may not feel comfortable being in a room with hundreds of other people. We completely understand that. Now, speaking of COVID, myself and our staff, we're going to have our masks on. As I said in last week's video, my dad's birthday is coming up. We're going to be getting together as a family, so I'm going to take a little bit of added protections. If you feel comfortable wearing a mask, you're welcome to do so. If not, your choice. But we want to make sure that everyone feels as comfortable and that we can be as safe as we possibly can while we're trying to get things back to normal. Now, right now, the plan is let's see how our meeting today goes, what the attendance is like, and then we will decide from there what other area meetings we might be able to squeeze in the remainder of 2022, whether it's getting back down to the South Coast at Whites of Westport or getting out to Central Mass or the Springfield area again. Our hope is to do so before the end of 2022. At the same time, start to plan for what our meeting schedule might look like into 2023 and start to give advance notice once again of when and where we'll be, so those members who want to attend are able to plan to do so. So right now, that's the plan. Now, if you've not been to a Mass Retirees meeting before, the format's pretty simple. Well, we try to provide up-to-date information of what's going on. So that will very much resemble the type of information that's in the newsletter. So for our annual meeting, we will be talking about the cost of living adjustment and what just took place and the progress we've made and the success that has happened over the past year. We're also going to report on what we plan on working on in the coming months and what our hope is over the coming year of what we want to accomplish in terms of the COLA, both at the state level for state and teacher retirees, as well as at the local level, working with our local retirement boards. There's a lot of activity going on all at once. There's a lot to be excited about and to be proud of the success and the progress that we've made. But there is a lot of work that remains to be done. In addition to that, we also want to provide an update of what's happening with healthcare. A big part of what we do here at Mass Retirees is working on healthcare policy, whether it's at the state level with the GIC or at the local level with Blue Cross Blue Shield and our local insurance advisory committees and public employee committees. We are very active and very busy with everything related to retiree health care. And there's going to be a lot happening between now and early into 2023 regarding your health insurance. So we want to talk about that. And of course, we're going to provide an update on the work that is currently underway to either repeal or reform the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. Hopefully by now, all of you have read our most recent newsletter, The Voice, for September. as well as watched or read some of the recent emails that I've sent out. So you should have a pretty good understanding of what the current situation is when it comes to Social Security. We do not have any new updates beyond that, other than this work remains very much in progress, and we're hoping for some news by the middle of September, just in terms of some of the actuarial work that's going on in Washington, D.C. to assign some budgetary cost numbers to the various bills. But we'll be providing an update at today's meeting and answering your questions. And then, of course, comes the Q&A. If you have questions on specific retirement issues or bills, or you want some clarification, you can either talk to us face-to-face. Our entire Mass Retirees team will be on hand today. But we're also going to have the normal question and answer session where members can ask questions. And then for those of you who stick it out to the end of the meeting, we're going to have a door prize drawn, or prizes drawn at the end of the meeting, which is a traditional function of Mass Retirees. So we're really excited to be able to kick this off and meet with you all again and keep things moving forward. In the meantime, there's a couple of other things I wanted to mention today. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the thousands of Mass Retirees members here in Massachusetts who turned out, I should say, and voted in this week's primary election. We know that our members voted in droves, and you made a difference. Across the state, we endorsed 5 statewide candidates in our most recent newsletter. From the governor to the attorney general to the state auditor to the secretary of state to the lieutenant governor. The only statewide candidate we didn't endorse was Deb Goldberg, and the sole reason for that is the fact that Treasurer Goldberg had no primary opposition. But of course we support Deb Goldberg. We have no greater friend than Deb Goldberg. She is fantastic. She's doing a great job, but she just didn't have a primary opponent. So we only endorsed candidates who were actively opposed in the primary election. So all 5 of our endorsed statewide candidates won their primary election. And a couple of them were relatively close. Not super close, but it shows between our efforts, that of labor and other groups, and the fact that all of you turn out and vote, it makes a huge difference. Now, at the legislative level and at the county level, we also had great success. As a matter of fact, as far as we know, only 2 of our endorsed legislative candidates were not successful on Tuesday. And they were first-time candidates running for open seats. They were folks that we were familiar with, that we had worked with in the past. They had served as aides or were active in other public service types of roles and earned our support. And unfortunately, both Steve Tehan and Tristan Smith came up a little bit short. I believe it was around 100 votes or less in both of those elections. It just shows you that every single vote does in fact count. But all of the incumbent legislators that we endorsed did win their primaries, and we will be issuing a new round of endorsements for the general election. And we're also planning to do a new survey or a poll of our members. We want to have a better understanding or a good understanding of your feelings and your thoughts before we make any formal announcements or endorsements at the statewide level. There are also 3 ballot questions that will be on the ballot for November. We want to gauge your opinions on those issues as well before we take any type of a formal position. So keep your eyes and ears open over the next week or so. But if you get a poll from Mass Retirees or a survey from Mass Retirees on your phone, that's what it's all about. It's just for us to have a better understanding of where our members stand on these issues. Now, finally, in addition to everything else going on, we continue to keep very close tabs, and we're very active in terms of working on legislation that's now before the state Senate. It's already passed the House. It's before the Senate, that would allow local retirement boards and the local government. Remember, there are 102 local retirement boards across Massachusetts. This legislation would allow local boards, with the approval of their local government, the ability to increase the 3% COLA for the current fiscal year, which is FY23, up to the same 5% COLA percentage paid to state and teacher retirees for FY23. This is a local option. The state can't mandate this, but this legislation is necessary to give the local retirement boards and local authorities the same ability, if they choose to increase their local COLA percentage for the coming year. So again, if you're in the Randolph area, we look forward to seeing you today. Please come up and say hello. It's going to be great to reconnect with a lot of folks. Hopefully we'll have some new members who have never been to a meeting before. And we're looking forward to having a good time. But in the meantime, be well. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back to you again next week. Bye-bye, everybody.